Introduction. Welcome to the United Nations Police English Language Assessment. This assessment consists of two parts, the reading comprehension and the audio comprehension. The instructions to both parts will be clearly explained before we commence. The use of any computer devices, microphones, books, external notes, or assistance from others is not permitted. We expect full compliance and good conduct during this test. Any candidates who fail to observe appropriate conduct will be excluded from the assessment process, and the incident will be communicated in writing to the authorities of the member state concerned and to the SAAT coordinator in the UN Police Division. Part 1 is the reading comprehension. You will be given a mission-related story with a question and answer sheet which contains 10 questions related to the key facts of the story. You will also be given a blank sheet of paper for your note-taking. Any notes that you take on the blank sheet you are allowed to keep throughout the exam. Read the text very carefully. You may write on the test as you wish. You will not be graded for any marking made on the test itself, only on the question and answer sheet. After reading the test, answer the 10 questions on the question and answer sheet. Be sure to include the entire key fact in your answer. It is not necessary to write in grammatically complete sentences. It is highly recommended that you use the blank sheet of paper for important notes from the reading. These notes will be essential for Part 2 of the assessment. You will be able to keep only the sheet of paper with your notes for the second part of the exam. Keep the test and question and answer sheet face down until you are asked to start. You will have 20 minutes to complete the reading comprehension. The instructor will indicate when these 20 minutes begin. The instructor will then announce when there are 5 remaining minutes and when there is 1 final minute. After the 20 minutes have passed, the instructor will collect the reading test and the question and answer sheet. You will keep the written notes that you made on the blank sheet of paper for the second part of the assessment. Please write your full name, your individual test serial number, and other details clearly in the space provided on the question and answer sheet you receive. Good luck. Introduction. This is the second section of the UNPOL Combined Language Assessment. It is divided into 2 parts. In the first part, you will hear one person describing the mission-related topic you have just read about in the reading comprehension. It will be introduced as the narrative. In the second part, you will hear a conversation between 2 people who are discussing the same mission-related topic. It will be introduced as the dialogue. Please be reminded that the use of any computer devices, microphones, books, external notes, or assistance from others is not permitted. Candidates who fail to observe appropriate conduct during this test will be excluded from the assessment process. Such actions will be duly noted and communicated in writing to the authorities of the member state concerned and to the SAAT coordinator in the UN Police Division. You will be given a report writing form and another blank sheet of paper. Take careful notes on the blank sheet of paper of both the narrative and the dialogue. Pay attention to the important facts and key information. You will hear the recording only one time. Once the narrative and dialogue are finished, you will be asked to use your notes from both the reading and the audio parts to write down your own complete police report. You will have 30 minutes to complete your police report. The instructor will indicate when these 30 minutes begin. The instructor will then announce when there are 5 minutes remaining and when there is one final minute. Please do not forget to write your full name, your individual test serial number, and other details clearly in the spaces provided on the report writing sheet. Good luck. Narrative.
Following the Peacekeeping homicide, Michael Madison, 35 years, was arrested on Saturday, 20th of July 2013, after 3 female bodies were found nearby the apartment block where he lived. Madison was located in his mother's home at the corner of E. 197th Street and St. Martin Boulevard in Peacekeeping near the Saint-Soleil border. After a standoff with police, he was finally taken into custody. In his interview, Madison stated that he worked in a nearby sausage factory until 2011. He left the job and became a member of an online dating agency, where he publicized that he was a master looking for a submissive person to train. Soon, he began a relationship with Emmy Fordson, 31 years, but this ended after a short period, in 2011, when he found that she was not submissive. Women came into his life, but he was unable to bond with them. He felt scorned, and developed a strong feeling of love or hatred against women, but continued to contact more women in his role as a master. During this period, he read a book called Nobody's Women: The Crimes and Victims of Anthony Sowell, which detailed Sowell's murders and the way he selected his victims. Anthony Sowell was infamously known as the Peacekeeping Strangler for multiple homicides in 2011 in neighboring Peacekeeping, and after reading the book, Madison became influenced by his modus operandi of using women. He selected more submissive women, such as drug users, and those with criminal records, who would come to his home voluntarily. After taking drugs and drinking, Madison raped his victims, and as a method of denial, he strangled them until they choked to death. Once dead, he would wrap the dead bodies in a bin bag and throw them behind the apartment building, in a field. He also thought that the nearby sausage plant would hide the odor of the decaying flesh. Madison's story of crime was as predicted by the police and justice officials. Madison identified both the women. The one wearing a leopard print purple leotard was 25-year-old Michelle Mason, and the other, who was wearing a green jacket and had a pink orchid tattoo on her hip, was 31-year-old Imelda Hunter. They were both African-American women, with a criminal record and a history of drug abuse. Both the women lived outside Peacekeeping. Following a court appearance on 21st of July 2013, Madison was charged with 3 counts, each of murder, rape and holding people captive. However, Madison pleaded guilty to charges of captivity. UNPOL officers are trying to gather further information to determine whether Madison is associated with other unsolved cases in the Peacekeeping Saint-Soleil.
Dialogue.
Police officer, state your name and date of birth for our reference.
Michael Madison. My name is Michael Madison. I was born on 4th of February 1978.
Police officer, do you know the reason why you are here.
Michael Madison, I know. I have been arrested for the series of homicides in Peacekeeping, the killing of 3 women within a 6 to 10 day period.
Police officer, where do you live? Do you have any family members living with you?
Michael Madison, I live at my mother's house, located at the corner of E. 197th Street and St. Martin Boulevard in Peacekeeping, near the Site Soleil border. I live alone now. My mother had not been around for the past 3 months. She has gone on a tour to USA.
Police officer, Paul, Carla Reese, why did not you surrender when you were asked to?
Michael Madison, I was afraid, since I am a registered sex offender with the police. Before I could find a escape route, I was caught.
Police officer, Paul, Carla Reese, do you have a job?
Michael Madison, well, I worked in a sausage factory, located near my apartment, until 2011, but I left that job, and became a member of an online dating service, so now, I am a trainer for submissive people.
Police officer, Paul, Carla Reese, are you in relationship with anyone?
Michael Madison, no, not now. I had a relationship with a lady named Emmy Fortson, 31 years old. But that did not last long, since was not submissive. We broke up in 2011. She was not the type of person that I wanted. On many occasions, I felt scorned by women, and I started developing a feeling of love or hatred towards them. I just liked to use them and throw them.
Police officer, Paul, Carla Reese, what actually led you to commit the series of homicides?
Michael Madison, I had already started hating women. During this time, I read a book, Nobody's Women, The Crimes and Victims, of Anthony Sowell. The book detailed Sowell's murders, and his method of selection of women, and I became influenced by his modus operandi, and became his admirer. Although Anthony Sowell is infamously known as the Peacekeeping strangler for multiple homicides, I followed his path.
Police officer, Paul, Carla Reese, how did you select the women and make them subject to your hatred?
Michael Madison, I chose women from the drug users and those with criminal records. They came to me for doses of drugs voluntarily or on my call. After taking drugs or drinking, I played with them, raped them, and in the event of denial, I strangled them with a tie or belt until they are choked to death. I then wrapped them in plastic bag and threw them out of the window in the bush behind the apartment building. The smell coming from the sausage plant helped to hide the odor.
Police officer, Paul, Carla Reese, can you identify the dead bodies?
Michael Madison, yes. The first one, wearing the hoodie, and with the tattoo on her right thigh, is named Angela Deskins, a 32-year-old woman. The one wearing a leopard print, purple leotard, is 25-year-old, named Michelle Mason, and the other who had a green jacket on and a pink orchid tattoo on her waistline is a 31-year-old, named Imelda Hunter. All of them are black, African-American women, and the latter have a criminal record and a history of drug abuse. Both of them are from outside Peacekeeping.
Police officer, Paul, Carla Reese, you know that you are a registered sex offender. You are now charged with 3 counts, each of murder, rape, and holding people captive. If you had been left on the streets just 1 day longer, you could have put the lives of other people in danger. You can face the death penalty. or life in prison, if convicted of the charges of holding a person captive, rape and aggravated murder. Do you have anything to say?
Michael Madison, I feel sorry for the people for the crimes I have committed. I tried to become a good man, but my fate wills me otherwise. I plead guilty to charges of captivity. The women came to me voluntarily and I am innocent. Besides that, I have nothing to say.
Police Officer, Paul, Carla Reese, we are gathering information to determine if you can be linked to other unsolved cases in the Peacekeeping site CLA. You could face the death penalty or life in prison if convicted of the charges of holding people captive, rape and aggravated murder. You will be sent to the Peacekeeping County Jail today until the investigation is over.